Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer and uncover a little bit of behind-the-scenes magic. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder how filmmakers manage to construct these completely immersive visual worlds from the ground up? Like how they can tell you literally everything you need to know about a time, a place, or a person without a single character ever saying a word. Well, today we're exploring the super fascinating art of production design. It's really the invisible force shaping your favorite stories. And honestly, once you understand how this works, you are never going to watch a movie the same way again.
Let's kick things off with a quick thought experiment. Picture two different rooms in your head. Room A is incredibly clean, brightly lit, and filled with sleek, modern, minimalist furniture. Now contrast that with Room B. It's older, maybe a little dusty, pretty crowded, and the walls are absolutely covered with framed family photographs. Before anyone living in those rooms even walks through the door or utters a single syllable, you've already formed a distinct, really strong opinion about exactly who they are. You've guessed their age, their personality, maybe even their priorities in life, completely based on what you just saw.
And that brings us to the golden rule of this craft, which is profound but simple. Every detail tells the story. In filmmaking, absolutely nothing in the frame is just a happy accident. Every single visual detail, from the wallpaper pattern to a specific coffee mug sitting on a desk, is a deliberate, highly calculated choice used to build that narrative universe. It's not just about making things look pretty, It's about deep, intentional visual communication.
So what does this actually entail on a practical level? Production design really isn't just decoration. It is the comprehensive process of creating a film's entire visual world. That encompasses literally everything placed in front of the camera, with the one exception of the actors themselves. It's the intentional shaping of an environment to actively support the narrative. Basically, it's transforming a blank location into a living, breathing world that characters can believably inhabit.
To really see how this world building works in practice, let's break down the designer's toolkit into 4 distinct layers. We've got the set dressing, the props, and the costumes. Let's explore exactly what each one of these specific layers brings to the table.
First up is the set. Now, this isn't just a physical location. It is the foundational bedrock of the whole cinematic world. Whether it's a practical, real-world house or a completely fabricated spaceship bridge built entirely from scratch on a studio soundstage, the set establishes the overarching scale and the fundamental rules of the universe your characters live in.
Right on top of that foundation goes the set dressing. These are the untouched details, right? The heavy curtains, the faded rugs, maybe some dying plants in the corner. It's what actually transforms a sterile, empty box into an authentic, deeply lived-in space that breathes with the history of the characters.
Then we have props, and this is where things get physical. Unlike set dressing, props are the specific objects that actors actively handle and interact with. The very moment a character picks up a battered walking stick or aggressively taps on a mobile phone, it becomes this dynamic storytelling tool that can instantly reveal a fatal character flaw or even completely pivot the entire plot forward.
Finally, costumes. This is easily the most personal visual element. Think about it. A wardrobe is a character speaking to you before they even open their mouth. It instantly suggests their history, their social status, and their current state of mind, seamlessly supporting their narrative arc rather than distracting from it.
But, beyond all those physical objects, the walls, the furniture, the clothes, we have something intangible yet incredibly powerful. We have the emotional glue that ties the whole thing together, and that is color. Color is one of the absolute most vital tools in a production designer's arsenal, mainly because it acts on a subconscious level, bypassing our logical brain entirely and speaking directly to our feelings.
Because of that, color choices are literally never random. A specific palette hits you right in the chest, reinforcing the exact emotion the story needs. For instance, notice how blue might be used to isolate a character, while red famously signals intense passion or looming danger. You've got green representing nature and growth, white symbolizing simplicity, and black creating this heavy, undeniable atmosphere of mystery or authority. By curating these colors across sets and costumes, designers essentially paint the emotional landscape of the film.
When you masterfully stack all these distinct elements together, the sets, the dressing, the props, the costumes, and the color, you achieve a concept known in filmmaking circles as mise-en-scène. It's a French term that translates to putting on stage, and it represents the ultimate synthesis of your film's entire visual language. It is absolutely everything placed within that camera frame.
Let's actually put this into practice to see how it works. Imagine for a second that we are tasked with designing a scene for a very specific character. an elderly mountain shepherd. Our goal is to create an environment that tells the audience exactly who this man is instantly.
In one version of this scene, we've given our shepherd a modern office desk, a bright neon gaming chair, a shiny laptop, and a bunch of sports trophies. It's completely absurd, right? It makes zero sense for his character. But contrast that with a second version, a worn wooden chair, a traditional wool cap, some old family photographs, and a rustic lantern. Without a single drop of dialogue, that purposeful use of traditional props instantly communicates a life of isolated, harsh tradition. It does it flawlessly.
It is shockingly easy to break audience immersion, though. Beginners often do this by cluttering up the frame with random decorations that just don't mean anything. Or, even worse, accidentally leaving a modern coffee cup in a historical setting, which instantly rips you right out of the movie. Professionals, on the other hand, rely on relentless consistency. Every single visual choice has to have a specific, undeniable narrative purpose.
And that brings us to the ultimate paradox of this incredible craft. Great production design often goes totally unnoticed, precisely because it feels so natural. If a production designer does their job perfectly, you shouldn't be consciously staring at the wallpaper or analyzing the color palette. Instead, you're just completely immersed, accepting this carefully crafted illusion as absolute reality.
So now that you understand the mechanics of how a cinematic visual world is built, piece by intentional piece, from the overarching set down to the smallest handheld prop, I have a challenge for you. The next time you sit down to watch your favorite film, look a little closer. Look past the actors and deep into the background. What hidden stories is the room itself trying to tell you? What is the color palette making you feel? Pay attention to those invisible details, and I guarantee you'll discover a whole new layer of storytelling you never even knew was there. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and definitely keep your eyes open out there.